More people jumping in. We're just having a good conversation. I hope you guys are doing well. This is going to be just kind of a quick update here. Um, I guess we're kind of in the same spot. We're moving forward. I know everyone's very busy, so we've been just kind of taking our time. The most important thing, again, is for us to get the budgets like stated out, and then being able to get the budget. So I think we're working on both sides of that right now. I'm working on trying to secure as much capital as I can on the pitch deck and some other different things, as well as trying to put together a pre-sale contract and some other contracts with Algo and Emmanuel, so that we can figure out exactly how we're going to make this be a smooth point and we don't have to have a lull there. So that's kind of what I'm working on. I'm sure Mr. Crypto can update on his stuff, and then we can just go around, let everybody else speak, and then take any questions and kind of close things out, guys. So yeah, go ahead, Mr. Crypto.
Okay, so I think we did briefly caught up on that. We're going to catch up on the final numbers maybe later this afternoon. Once I have these our meeting, I would have more or less finished cash flow forecast by next meeting. So I have worked on them. I have most of the things in place, just need the final details really. That will be from my side, and then I can start focusing on other things. That's as far as I would be able to update you. I do slap a little bit and falling behind a little bit on everything because of other things in the life, but I'm still catching up on everything.
No, that's totally fine. Honestly, I think we have so many changes that are being made in terms of like improvements to the protocol since we have this time, and we have like a pretty decent development team, 4 or 5, 6 people. It's nice to be able to have those resources because we can make little tweaks and little changes that don't really change our overall vision or anything like that, but really just make the contract better, more secure, and more updated, kind of based on the projects that are trending and being very successful in the market. And I want to make sure that we're mindful of that, because usually those projects are bringing in some sort of meaningful change or utility to commonly used, I guess, code bases that are kind of universal. Those would probably be something like Drip or Titano, and there's a whole bunch of other different tokens that are very popular right now. But those are just two like where the mechanics are starting to be copied successfully. So I think it's just us learning from those projects, seeing what they're doing, and then of course making sure everything is as secure as possible. So when we start launching things, we have a good foundation to launch off of. So I think we're in the same place where the development work is probably going to take another week or 2 weeks. So as we finalize the budget, get the marketing plan in place, and kind of meet with some people to see exactly what we need to do, I'm hoping that we will have finished all of this so that we're moving forward and ready to set all at the same time.
I think that sounds like a good plan for me as well, because we just need to focus on the rest of the things gets done.
That sounds great. I think that we're in agreement there. Sandmaster and Ken, did you guys have anything that you wanted to ask or say, or any updates from your side?
I think we only catching up, really, both of us.
Oh, no worries.
No, bro, no. Bro, I understand everything, so I just follow your plan. Actually, you're doing very good, bro.
Thanks, man. I think we are doing good as a team, and I'm glad to have all you guys on the team and everybody working together. And I couldn't have asked for better guys to be working with. So I really appreciate you guys. Ken, I've seen you checking in to all of the operation, like all of the groups from operations to development to the main group, and I really appreciate that. Just keep what you're doing. We're going to definitely get a little bit more direction in here at some point in terms of just dividing the work once we get this operational meeting out of the way. So we'll record that as well and just put it up on the server so everyone can listen if they want to. But I really do appreciate that effort, and we're going to need that in the times that are coming soon because we're going to have to really start coordinating everyone and getting them going. So I'm trying to activate as many people as possible, and we'll continue those handoffs and just giving you a little bit more every week until you're kind of fully vetted in the process. All right. I'll keep going.
Hello, Tim.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can.
I got it.
You're a
Yes,
little fuzzy, Ken.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just listening in, and then we are, as we discussed last week, we are looking for development. Maybe we do 75%, then we can start. The other things can be done very quick, right? Because development is the hardest part. Huh? And then we have touched on budget and how we can maybe chip in whatever somebody can afford. Well, I don't know how far that has gone in discussion because that is also another issue that to consider.
Yeah, so I think we're kind of all on the same page. I'm glad that you reiterated that. Development and budget are the two hardest things, for sure. With development being first, so we did about 90% of the development before we pulled the team back in. Like the protocol is fully functional now. What we're building out is the airdrop system. So Algo is building out the airdrop system. We've had to go back and tweak it a few times. At first, it wouldn't send all of the transactions in a queue, right? Like you couldn't just hit a button and it sends all the transactions in a queue for you to forget about, because potentially there could be thousands of addresses and you don't want someone to have to do that manually, right? So that was the first challenge. We solved that. But as we spoke in a few meetings back, I'm sure you guys remember, we kind of thought that it would be better just for everyone to go and claim that, number one, so we're not paying their gas fees, which is going to be like astronomical in terms of cost, but also because we don't want, we want people to just be able to go get it at their own convenience. And if they're not collecting, we don't want to be the ones making an error, essentially. So we're going to let them claim from the website. We're also going to let them recommit their balance to the greater pool of tokens in exchange for like a slightly higher APY, right? Basically a compound within a compound, because the protocol is already compounding itself. So that's just going to be another powerful feature in the claims contract that is going to help us control supply, right? It's just a lever that we can use to control supply, because it's hard to control demand, but as much as possible, this product is designed for us to be able to control supply and essentially apply capital across a certain supply so that we can maintain the price, as the number of tokens increases in everyone's wallet. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, the way that everything works. So the reason why we're taking a little bit of time is on development of that contract, as well as contracts that we're going to use to basically fund the protocol. So pre-sale contracts, security contracts, getting audits, that type of stuff to make sure that we're ready to handle the capital. So that's what we're doing there. And then Mr. Crypto is basically done with the cash flow. So we'll be basically probably finalizing that early to mid next week. I expect probably about 5% more of the development to be done, and then the last 5% is probably going to be done next week as well. And we'll have to basically then put everything together into one contract. So that's the only thing that needs to be done. 2-3 weeks at the most. We need that time to definitely finish the budget and as well as talk marketing. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis, is market crypto projects, but it's really more like business plans. So we're going to bring in another marketing consultant, and we also have Lynn, so that I can figure out exactly like if the plan that we currently have is going to be the best way to go about things. Because we have some really cool tools, Telegram DMs, Telegram adders, all of that different type of stuff. But I think it's important for us to be able to have, more guerrilla marketing tools that can kind of go out there and find leads, as well as use like a kind of the press method of like getting YouTubers and stuff like that. So that's where we are. sorry to go on so long there, but I just wanted to kind of clarify that for everyone. And then, once we get all that stuff done, guys, we're going to be ready to launch. And, we're hopefully going to be able to do that with, some good partnerships and being able to have some places where we can really explain the vision of this project. So I won't keep you guys too long. If no one else has any more questions, this is kind of a good place for us to stop. Now, I guess I've gone over kind of like a full area of where we are.
I think it's I'm just on the street now, just walking onto the meeting now after the coaching. So I think the only one thing I would ask is, how do you feel about all the market being down now before the launch? Because I think it's going to be going into like a good recession at the moment. Well, that's going to be the right time to launch that.
I think that I've seen a lot of projects launch, right? Like I really do try to study it as much as possible. And one thing I know that is really basically going to help us is YouTube marketing, right? Like I've done Twitter marketing, I've done all of that type of marketing on projects before, and there's times when it's worked, there's times when it hasn't worked. But I think YouTube marketing and really having a good vision for the project, which I believe that we do, but then also finding the best way to communicate that vision of the project. And I think YouTube is that. So trying to do AMAs, really sitting down with people and going into an hour or two or an hour and a half long conversation about the space, the state of the space, answering those types of questions, to me is the best way to kind of build our investor base. So we're going to do that, as well as do a lot of reaching out, building the group, call groups and some other different things. And I know Lynn has made some suggestions. My main thing is I do believe that we'll have a good time because we have a great brand. I just think we need to continue to make things look amazing, and that with a little bit of change, it shouldn't be a problem for us, to be honest. And then also, on top of that, I think a partnership or two would not hurt in terms of, what we want to do. And I think that we could easily get that done, from like a launchpad perspective as well. So for those reasons, I'm not too worried about filling a pre-sale or basically getting good volume. I do think it will be lower, but I think this is the best time to do it because, people are probably, the people who are in the space are still doing B&B. They're still doing a lot of different things and they're having more of it. So, it's a good time to find good investors who are looking to grow with us, because then we'll all really benefit at the end, and a lot quicker than we probably would if the market was on fire.
Okay, no, I think it's important to have all the people insights on this, because as we can see, there's blood everywhere with the current market, and wiping loads of billions out. So it's a best time to invest. I can agree. Just making sure that we're all on the same page, really, with the product launch and getting the right investors in.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an ongoing battle. When we see the budget and everything like that, then I can kind of take the marketing budget and make it equivalent to that, and then we'll run it by Lynn if he's going to basically get started. I know he's been dealing with a lot lately, so he's been kind of busy, but we will make that happen, and then kind of take his recommendations that he gave before he kind of took his hiatus, and then we will, like I said, I'm going to bring in a YouTuber, actually, as many YouTubers as I can, to give their perspectives, who have large channels, call channels, basically to do that. So right now we've made a list of over 500 Telegram groups that we think are the most related to the project. We're going to do a lot of different things to these groups. We're going to shield them, scrape them, add people to a proxy room, and basically describe the project, do all types of different things like that, just because I know that that's a lot of the way that these big projects build their audiences. And then second, we're going to go and we have over, I think, 150 YouTubers that we've cataloged their information. taking down all their best contact methods, and all of them either did projects that are similar to our project or projects that are basically about passive income. So we know that they're right where our target audience is going to be. And some of these YouTubers we already have contact with, and then the rest of the list we expect to get contact with by Friday. So because of that, I think that we're going to have a huge amount of options for marketing. And the goal is, I guess, to get as many of these people on as advisors or ambassadors as possible through tokens, and maybe like a small incentive in terms of like just upfront payment, right? Whether that's like 25 or $50 or something like that. I think that it's really doable. And for the larger ones, we may just get featured on their channel once we have more budget. But that's kind of the plan there, is to just saturate the market, turn as many of those videos as we can into interviews and AMAs. And then I have a friend who runs a pretty big AMA group. I've worked with him before. He's going to basically run the Twitter and do 2 AMAs for us in his group, or like ongoing AMAs for us in his group. So I think all of those things are a good base. And then Lynn kind of recommended 2 big AMA groups that I'm going to reach out to, get their pricing, etc. And also a launch pad that we could reach out at that should be interested. And I know, Mr. Crypto, you told me about Baby Swap, so I'll reach out to them, and kind of do that whole thing to share some of the AMAs and some other different things with them so they can see what we're trying to put together. And, we'll figure that part out. But I think that we have a good marketing plan right now. We just need to continue to bring the resources together and get the team organized around it. So, with or without what we're with Lynn, we'll move forward, and then he can advise later once he kind of settles out everything that's going on with the family. So
Hey, no, it's that sounds really good. I think there is a good setup now into place already, and then we have a good direction where to go. And I think it's really important. And then you just confirmed that we do have. And I think it just needs to start taking the next step slowly. So and the guys are going to have to go now. I'm
right.
just arrived at my coaching place, so I'll have to shoot off for this meeting. But I'll be definitely there catching up with you a little bit later.
Okay. I'll work with Ian to get a good time. Have a great time, man. Thanks for jumping in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll speak soon. And yeah, everybody.
Thanks for having me, man.
Always, man. Yeah, everybody. I'm basically just going to call the meeting. This has been good. I'm glad we kind of just talked about overall direction, as well as where we are. Feel free to jump online or offline and shoot me a DM. I'm going to be on, and I'll be a lot more active probably this next coming weeks. So, yeah, hope you guys have a great day, great weekend, great rest of your week, and you can always reach out to me. Later, y'all.